evening. Here is top news newsletter, starting with the headlines. More successful military operations against foreign-backed terrorists. UN Jafari, Turkey seek to turn Syria into terror pay. Iraqi, Iran to quiet talks if interests are not secure. Units of the army and armed forces eliminated a number of terrorists, some of them hold Saudi and Tunisian nationalities, during army intensive operation against Takfiri terrorist organizations hid out in Douma farms and the western south of Damascus countryside. The unit of the army carried out strikes against terrorist organizations' gatherings and dens, inflicting them heavy losses in Hamrit village. Many of terrorists' vehicles and gatherings were destroyed in Sabsaba village, as the sources added. Army eliminated many of the terrorists during its intensive operation in Tel Kurdi farm to the eastern south of Douma. Terrorist organizations admit that 37 of their members are dead. Most of them are a member of the so-called Islamic Army in Douma. The army destroyed a vehicle for terrorists and killed many of them in Busra al-Harir in Daraa countryside. A unit of the army and armed forces carried out a special operation against terrorist organizations' dens and gathering Samlin town west of the southern Daraa province, killing and injuring many terrorists and destroying their ammo and equipment. In Daraa al-Mahnata neighborhood in the city, the army unit frustrated a terrorist infiltration attempt to the south of the electricity company building, eliminating many of them, injuring others, and destroying their weapons and ammunition. Army units killed Jabhat al-Nusra linked terrorists, including field leader, and destroyed 5 vehicles, some of which equipped with a heavy machine gun and others loaded with weapons and ammunition in the northern countryside of the coastal Latakia province. Army units launched strikes against terrorist gatherings in Salma and Kinsaba in the northern countryside of this province, destroying 2 vehicles. One of them was armed and the other was loaded with weapons. A number of terrorists were also killed, and 2 vehicles equipped with machine guns were destroyed during military operation carried out in Jabal Zahia and the Abu al-Rij farm. Syria's UN envoy Bashar al-Jafari accused neighboring Turkey of rallying Takfiri terrorists from many countries to turn the Arab state into a terror base. Addressing a Security Council session on protecting the international peace and security in New York, Jafari added that Turkey sent criminal terrorists and foreign mercenaries to Syria to establish their self-proclaimed state and make it a base for terrorism. These terrorists will be set off from Syria to the neighboring countries and the whole world, as Jafari added. Training foreign mercenaries in camps supervising by the US, Pentagon in Saudi Arabia, Turkey, Qatar and Jordan, and sending them through borders to fight the Syrian state is a flagrant violation of the simplest UN principle, the diplomat added. He also described Ankara's move as an unjustifiable breach by the U.S. to Security Council Resolution number 2170, 2178, 2199. Turkish ground troops supported by warplanes entered to Syrian territory in the alleged attempts to evacuate the garrison guarding on Ottoman tomb of Suleiman Shah, which was surrounded by the ISIL Takfiri militants. The Syrian government denounced the Turkish army's incursion into the Syrian territory as an act of flagrant aggression and held Ankara responsible for the repression of the operation. In a response to remarks by U.S. officials, Iranian Deputy Foreign Minister and Senior Nuclear Negotiator Abbas Araghchi said Tehran attaches no importance to media hype and continues to talk as long as there is a respect at the negotiating table. Iranian nation and nuclear negotiator, as the son of the nation, will never turn to threat and pressure and force, Araghchi said. U.S. Secretary of State John Kerry said that significant gaps remaining and warned that Washington was ready to walk away from the talks if Tehran didn't agree to the term, demonstrating that it doesn't want atomic arm. We have already faced this kind of American rhetoric, and it's unfortunate that they repeat it while it has completely failed. Araqji stated he was speaking after 3 hours of talk on Sunday night between U.S. Secretary of State John Kerry and Energy Secretary Ernest Mons and their Iranian counterparts Mohammad Jawad Zarif and Ali Akbar Saleh, stressing that the negotiations should continue in a win-to-win situation. Araqji said if one side tries to impose its will-through non-negotiating methods, Iran will have no doubt to walk away from the talks, but this is not what we are in now. Zarif added, we continue the talks strongly, but whenever we feel that the negotiations don't secure our national interest, we will certainly walk away. We can't claim yet that there is a breakthrough in the talks and there are still gaps, but all the sides are seriously trying to get closer to a settlement, although there are no complete solution in a key problem yet, as he said. Their meetings are a bit to smooth the way toward a long elusive nuclear deal that would prevent Iran from developing a nuclear bomb in return for an easing of international economic sanctions. Iran denies its nuclear program has military objectives. Today, no one can pretend that Iran's nuclear program isn't peaceful, as President Sheikh Hassan Rouhani told science ministers from non-Afghan movement nations gathering in Tehran. Patriarch John Yazigi of Antioch and others from Orthodox said that Syria relies on the Russian rule to push toward dialogue and political solution to the crisis in Syria and consolidate stability in Lebanon. We also rely on the Russian rule to press for the immediate release of the 2 bishops, Yohanna Ibrahim and Poulos Yazigi, who were abducted by terrorists in Aleppo. Patriarch John, leading a mass along with Patriarch Kirill of Moscow and the Inter-Russia, said he appreciated Russia as a people, a church and government for its political support and the humanitarian aid offered to the Syrian people. Patriarch Yazigi concluded an 18-day visit to Moscow, which included many activities and a meeting, among them a meeting with the Russian Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov. The blatant execution of 12 convicts on death row, most on drug charge, will be delayed, Indonesia's president said. President Joko Widodo has denied claiming to the convicts despite repeated pleas from Australia, Brazil, and France. There shouldn't be any intervention toward the death penalty because it's our sovereignty right to exercise our law, Widodo said. Indonesia resumed executions for drug trafficking in 2013 after a 5-year hiatus. That's all for today. Thanks for joining us. I'm Inas Ahmad. Good night.